All right, as promised, here is our watch along for Batman and Robin, and of course, we have talked so much Batman on this show, and I've been saving this. This was the final nail in the coffin. Ed Greer, you're back for the penultimate episode. There's only one episode left after this. This is it.
Well, I mean, I just personally think that you saving these two movies for me is tantamount to torture. And I just, I don't appreciate it. Honestly, we could have watched so many things. We could have read Batman Year One together by the firelight.
It's so funny. I was just gonna ask you to do a normal episode, just Batman and Robin, just talk about it. But I didn't trust that you would actually rewatch it, and B I didn't want to rob myself of watching you watch it. So, after Batman Forever last summer, it's like, you know what? Let's go out with a bang. Let's not just talk about it. Let's talk about it while we watch it.
Okay.
So we're going to get into it here. This is streaming as of right now. I believe it's on HBO Max, so you can follow along with us. Yeah, this is a 2-hour movie, so we're going to cut the crap and just get right to it. Ed, you ready?
As I'll ever be.
Here we go. Push play right now. Now it's funny because this is where the Warner Brothers logo goes to the icy bat logo, and it's like, oh man, Dark Knight Rises totally ripped off Batman and Robin 10 years later. This is literally the exact same opening as Dark Knight Rises, an icy bat logo.
I personally think it is just a concept that rhymes, as George Lucas would say, he rips himself off. It just rhymes.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I still like these credits. I liked it in Batman Forever, and then they really doubled down this time because they put little sound effects after each one.
Well, they should hire these credits for circumcisions because they are sharp.
Yeah. I mean, look, for a lot of people, this is the best part of the movie. I'm not trying to say this is a great movie. I'm just saying, I like it for what it is. And there's the Nightwing logo.
Yeah. It's funny though. It's like supposed to be the Robin logo in this, but that eventually kind of becomes the Nightwing logo.
It vaguely looks like a Robin that maybe got hit by a car and was stretched out a little bit.
Play-Doh Robin. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Hit the butts. Yep. Butts, wieners, butts, wieners.
Now I remember in Batman Forever, we only got one butt shot, and that was when he suited up at the end. This time, it's like, nah, we're going straight for the butts.
I mean, this is like a child's version, or I was gonna say a child's version of that scene in Commando when he gets all the weapons, but that's a child's version of somebody getting a bunch of weapons.
I will say, say what you want about this movie, but I like this batsuit right here because it's not just pure black. I feel like it's the only time where they did inject a little bit of at least of navy blue into it.
Yeah, it's weird. It's picking up kind of almost grayish to me too. I don't, all those shadow colors. It's really good to see that.
I mean, if this doesn't tell you that Batman no longer hides in the shadows, that he is just advertising these out, that Batmobile is so gaudy.
Dude, chicks dig the car.
I remember I heard that Superman joke in the theater, and I was like, oh, Superman's totally going to be in this movie. Like the logic of a 10-year-old.
Dude, this scene with Alfred where he's like, they're driving away in their Matchbox cars, and then he hangs back after their spectacle. But wait a minute, we got to see the Robin's egg real quick. Oh shit.
This takes so long to come up. I mean, that's kind of cool. I did have that. I mean, all of these, and Joel Schumacher said as much. Like, all of these were designed to be toys, and I definitely had the Redbird motorcycle.
I mean, by design. And dude, here we go. My favorite trope in acting: an actual old person acts as though they're old and dying, even though that's the actual case.
Looks like he's got indigestion.
That was another part about it.
This
Oh God.
feels this feels very much like the '60s Batman show right here. Like just Commissioner Gordon just running down what it is.
Oh man.
That's a cool visual. I mean, you have to look. That Batmobile is definitely something out of the '50s in terms of the comics. Like, it's not like they just drew it out of thin air. It definitely takes inspiration from stuff that does exist.
Well, I mean, all of this, the architecture of the Schumacher era is outlandish, and this is just this ice is killing me.
You know what this plays like? I don't know if I'm willing to bet you did not. But in around like 2010, they did this like traveling Batman stage show for kids. Like it was at like Staples Center and stuff. This
Hmm.
feels like a big play or like a stunt show at like Universal Studios, but with Batman. You know, like this whole museum just feels like a big stunt show set.
Oh, it definitely does. And I love the freezing effect in this movie. Love meaning hate. It doesn't look like it looks like you just put a bunch of plastic all over them. It doesn't look like ice actually. Like almost never does it look like ice in this whole movie.
It does look like super glue. But I mean that look, minus Arnold Schwarzenegger, who I think was miscast in this. That suit is pretty cool though.
I mean, the suit. I think almost everybody's suits are sick actually when you really look at them.
Oof.
Oh God! This yabba dabba do quitting time bullshit right here. Oh my God! I hate this.
Oh look, Batman could have ended it right there.
Yeah, but he.
This always, even as a kid, was weird. Like, how did he get the logo perfectly in the door as he jumps out? I don't understand that.
Dude, and the concern for this vase is charming. I mean, honestly, of all the. Oh my God, that was. But yeah, oh, that's cute. Now this part reminds me of the last movie, as we saw, like the specialty gangs with they glow colors.
I mean, it's got to be hard if you're just like you live in Gotham City and you're not necessarily cool enough to be a supervillain. Like you have to join one of these gangs, but which one do you choose? Like I couldn't be Mr. Freeze because I don't know how to ice skate. I don't know if I'd want to be Two-Face though because you don't get to wear a shirt and I'm definitely not cut out to just wear a vest.
Or just the auditions for like the gangs, like okay, Two Face's gang must be able to fight in a whole suit. Like you have to wear a suit when you mess with him. And like the Joker gang, it's like you can't be. We don't have hyperallergenic paint. You know.
Although I gotta say, like, if you're going to be a henchman, being one of these skating ones is not bad because you're pretty padded. You know, you got like hockey pads on.
Not wear hockey pads. Then that little slide.
All right, this is great. I love this. I'm not gonna lie. Boom!
This part I thought was almost cool at the time. I think it's horrible now, but
I
like, at the
mean,
time I thought this was really cool because it is kind of cool.
full
Stupid
context.
gaming
I
thing.
was 10 years old when this movie came out. Every single thing in this movie was cool to me. There was nothing that was like, ugh, that's dumb. I'm like, yep, that tracks.
I mean, dude, him throwing the guy up to knock his gun loose. It's like so dumb it's genius. And I think Akiva Goldsman needs to get an award for this movie because getting into this mindset, you know what I mean? It was not like made up by Akiva Goldsman that this movie is going to have this tone.
Right. It's so funny that both Akiva Goldsman and Joel Schumacher like went on to say like how much they prefer like a darker version of Batman. And then this is the product that came out like right before it. Because Joel Schumacher always said after this one he wanted to do year one, and I was like, what part of this movie makes you think, even if this was a success, that year one is even like tonally the next move? You know?
Yeah, you can't do year one after after year one, or rather, or you can't do after year one after year four.
Yeah, this is just. It's weird to think of what would have been next if this had been like a huge hit. You know?
Yeah, this Mr. Freeze suit is about to get so sick, and I also don't understand what benefit it is to be in a gang and be around immeasurably priceless things. To see the rubber wiggle on that damn on that damn ice.
Nice butt shot.
Oh my god, that was purposeful and wonderful. See, if I was a henchman, I would just be skating off somewhere with that big ass diamond. But then you can't fence it. I get it. And look at this vehicle. Jeez Louise.
The funny thing is, this rocket feels like Plan C. Like, I'm not sure why he started with the rocket. Like, in most movies, when your villain has their own spaceship, that's the third act. We are nary how many? We are 9.5 minutes into this, and he's in his rocket.
Dude, and I kind of love this sequence because this is very much Captain America and Bucky from the original comics origin. Like Bucky and Captain America are outside of a rocket, and basically Bucky dies when it explodes. It's like this is kind of like that, but like 60 style, 60/90 style. I also don't buy that Freeze thought he knocked Batman out with a simple backhand.
Although he does kind of take him out like a bitch right here.
I mean, the last two blows he's landed on Batman have just been cataclysmic smashers to the dome.
How did he perfectly get his thumbs through?
Yeah, this is so stupid.
But I kind of love it. No more.
No more. Yeah, I love it. I mean, Victor Freeze, I don't think he was miscast. I think he was misdirected.
I'm not gonna lie. This whole sky surfing sequence was the coolest thing to me.
The sky surfing is still cool. I will say that right this instant. We're about to see it. The sky surfing, this sequence is still pretty cool until it's not. But nah, fuck that. It's sorry for the edit. But this is gonna be sick.
I like that he just looks at Mr. Freeze sprout wings and is just like, okay, yep, that seems about right.
And this banter. It's so funny to hear established partner banter from people who have literally never seen each other before because you know this is a new Batman.
You know, it's funny because this canonically fits in, you know, it is the fourth movie in this series, but it's just hard to imagine when you're watching the first Batman movie that this Batman is the same Batman that like fought the Joker at the top of a cathedral, you know?
Yeah. And but
okay,
this is still sick. Still sick.
Still awesome, even though
and dude, his suit, look at homeboy's suit with those wings. That's so fresh. That is so fresh. That is the only fresher wing suit thing since this probably is either the Falcon's joint or what you call it? Who else has wingsuits? There's one more that's super fresh. Oh, this is awesome.
See, in my head canon, I always thought that I was like, oh yeah, that's right there. That was the cathedral from the first movie. It just repaired. Oh, that looks like a PlayStation 2 cutscene.
I think it's charming.
It definitely is. And I remember this was like all in the marketing, and it got me so hyped for this movie.
But
Oof.
this part took me out even when I was a little baby kid. I was like, okay, so he shot so much ice that it gradually let everybody down easily. You know, you know what I mean? Like I
Yeah,
love
see?
just the force of the ice.
But I like that it created this like snowy atmosphere. It makes no sense, but it just looks cool.
I mean, it is cool.
I feel like I did this once on Twitter, maybe a couple months back, where it's like you could take a handful of screen grabs from this movie, and it looks like the most intense atmospheric movie ever made.
I
But the
mean
minute
that's
that
why that's why people are fooled by trailers. This is the worst. I really hate Robin when he gets to be a plastic action figure in there. It freaks me out. It's so uncanny valley for me.
yeah, it's definitely some like Madame Tussauds Chris O'Donnell, which I want to know who got to take that prop home.
Or do they put nachos in it?
See, I actually think Clooney, like in those reaction shots, like he looks pretty good in the suit.
I mean, Clooney isn't. I mean, honestly, Clooney isn't super bad as Batman. I just feel like people. He was just doing this ER thing when he was being Bruce Wayne.
I mean, the problem is that he has no differentiation between Batman and Bruce Wayne in this movie. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, gotta. All right, now when making Robin, you gotta heat up the water like this here. You gotta throw some MSG in there, throw some flavor packets. That is still funny. That is still funny.
And now we cut to Brazil, maybe?
What's funny is the movie is basically saying, "You thought that was ridiculous? Hold on to your butts."
We are just getting started. Oh man, you don't realize it until you watch it this up close on a computer monitor. Like, I don't know if that's her acne or if they added acne to like kind of like try your best to uglify Uma Thurman, which is, an impossible task.
Well, it's funny how she's really always willing to look unattractive because in the end aggregate most of the guys in America would think that she's still cute. It's like the bravery of getting ugly when you know you're pretty.
The Charlize Theron School of Acting.
Yeah, yep. But this hair is terrible. Like they really did homegirl wrong. And then, but I love the just expository. She's talking to her recorder thing. She talks herself into going down into this lab. Crazy evil auction on United Nations.
I mean, can you get more racist and stereotypical than the wardrobe? Like, they're just like, yeah, we'll put them. Come on. Like, this just looks like every G.I. Joe stereotype that you could throw on that balcony.
Hey, and another thing, this guy that they're strapping to the table is not even Latino.
Yeah, this is like an interesting.
I mean, I said it mostly in jest, but it's just funny how like none of it's right.
It's an interesting kind of like it's Bane in name only type of thing because yeah, like this is not what the Bane character from the comics or the cartoon at all. But I feel like if you did that version of Bane, like it's like you don't need Mr. Freeze and Poison Ivy, and they're certainly not going to do that, you know?
Well, I mean, but that's the second timeline. That's the second timeline we're living in. If they were brave enough and smart enough to do Bane right at the time that Bane was super very popular in the comics as a really cool complex character, do that as the fourth movie and really make it like good and like psychological and have some good fight scenes of Bane breaking Batman off and Batman having to survive. If that's Batman 4, I don't think the franchise dies.
Yeah, I think they just, for whatever reason, because even after this, it's like, yeah, I guess all that you had left was like Scarecrow, but it's like, oh, why did you burn out this time? And Joel Schumacher said as much. He's like, look, when you have Poison Ivy, she can't really fight the guys, so she has to have someone that fights for him. I'm like, well, then why'd you do it? You know,
Yeah.
why didn't you do Poison Ivy the next movie when you already had a Batgirl? You know, so there could be a little bit more, hand to hand. But
Yeah, yeah. I've always loved Poison Ivy as like a physical character. Like she can make stuff happen. She doesn't have to punch you or anything. She can make things happen that you have to like fight. So like, yeah, Batgirl doing flips through the jungle that's attacking her, all that jazz. That could have been really sick.
I always like Poison Ivy, kind of the interpretations where she's a lot more like almost like half plant herself, like much
Mm,
more kind of turning into nature,
yeah,
which
yeah,
this
I
one
get
doesn't
that.
really.
Yeah. I think you're right though. That those are the best. Where she's almost like there's Swamp Thing, and then you turn the volume down 62% and you got
Right.
her.
Like if you wanted to bone Swamp Thing, that's the Poison Ivy.
Well, you can bone Swamp Thing. He makes these mushrooms, and then you eat them, and then you have a psychosexual experience with him. That's how he bangs.
It had to be a mushroom, of course. Sick freaks. I love John Glover. And you could tell he's just like, this is a job. I'm going to do this job to the best of my damn ability.
Yeah, as the stupid kids say, he understood the assignment. I hate that, but I think it applies here
I
because
mean, they both did,
gotta,
you
yeah, you
know?
gotta, you gotta jump into this.
You psycho. This is maybe my favorite line. And every incel was born in that
Right?
moment.
This dude, he's patient zero of incels. He's born in the Schumacher movie. That is dedication.
I would not let a snake go over my face
Nope.
for a movie. Not happening.
Because what's funny? People always say all this dumb crap about like, oh, snakes, they don't really want to bite you and stuff, which is true, and all that kind of jazz. But I'm just saying they occasionally will just bite stuff. All types of snakes. I don't want to get bit by any type of snake.
I
It's getting
mean,
bit by an animal. That's
even
stupid.
if
Why would you want that? It's
even if it was like completely defanged, like I'm still scared of it without teeth.
Oh, of course. But that's because you remember the teeth. Oh, here we go. This is the best.
McGregor syndrome not a real thing for anyone wondering.
Dude, I just love the double zoom in. They showed the scene,
Right.
they zoom right in, and the zoom out. Oh!
This image always kind of freaked me out when they show him like coming out.
It looks like the Incredible Hulk a little bit. Or Solomon Grundy. See, he should have played Solomon Grundy. That would have
Oh,
been
that would have been great.
right.
There's a in Batman Returns in Christopher Walken, Max Schreck's office. There's a photo of him with Arnold Schwarzenegger, but in my mind, it's actually him and Victor Fries. And that, again, my head canon for these, it all makes sense.
Oh, you know what? Speaking of headcanon, remember when I couldn't remember the other wingsuit I thought was fresh? The
Yeah.
Vulture from Spider-Man. That was the other one I was thinking about.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like that Mr. Freeze suit is up there with the Falcon and the freaking Vulture as far as wingsuit design.
How did we never get a Vulture versus Falcon scene?
Missed opportunity. I don't trust you because you have an earring. I hate you. And Alfred shouldn't be lecturing nobody on trust because he trusts too damn many people. That's why all these hoes know where the damn Batcave is.
Alfred lets in the course of 4 movies, lets in 3 different people to the Batcave. He lets in Vicky Vale, he certainly doesn't stop Dick Grayson from taking
Hmm.
the Batmobile. Then he lets in, spoiler alert, Alicia Silverstone at the end of this movie.
Oh man.
I know. I should have saved it. I mean, look, I haven't read a Batman comic, like a new one, in, I don't know, almost 10 years now. Like, do they ever address, like, Alfred? Like, he can't be 65 forever, you know?
Wrong. He definitely can. Oh, and I love this scene right here. This is my jiggity jiggity jam because it is so stupid. Oh, for no reason. And then Homeboy comes up, keeps his head down so you don't have to see the face too much and not reconcile the stuff. Goes to shadow before you see his whole face. Beautiful, but also stupid as hell. Totally meaningless. I remember that one time I fell down.
I mean, yes, it's a really random memory to have. I will say, though, one thing I do like about this movie is it's like the only piece of Batman media where Bruce is not dwelling on his parents. Like he's moved on. I think that's something that like even George Clooney said like attracted to him in the first place. He was like, yeah, if I was super rich, I think I'd get over my parents eventually. Just enjoy being super rich. And it's like I know it's blasphemy for a lot of Batman fans, but it's like now in a long enough timeline with enough Batman stuff, like it's refreshing.
It what you said. That's absolutely true. And because I'm looking at Uma Thurman, and this is perfect. This part is perfect. Like her debut, busting out of the ground like this newborn thing. That's so sick. And they actually did that part right. It's absolutely pitch perfect.
And yeah, she's got the new red hair, which looks great.
Yeah, yeah, I'm telling you, she fell into some aloe down there. I mean, probably
Some
lip.
Clarisol.
Yeah, so plant-based anti-acne medicine. Venom. It is interesting how you know what I never put it together till just now, but like,
Mm.
and I know that makes me the stupidest person ever, but yeah, the Venom made Poison Ivy and Bane, and that's why they're such homies and they kick it together because they're both made of the same mute. They're like how the Hulks, all the different Hulks that happen from gamma exposure.
Right.
This is what happens to a chick on Venom. This scientist lady with the plants and jazz, and then this big stupid creature is what happens on the other Venom. That's interesting.
It bothers me to no end. In just a second, they're going to show Bane again. They couldn't even be bothered to film another scene with him. It's literally he's been in the same pose that we left him in for like in their time, like 2 hours. Like they just reused the same shot. You'll see it in just a sec. This he's just been there like that for like 3 hours.
I mean,
That's a waste of Venom to just have him running nonstop like that.
I know you got to charge the Venom.
All right, this I can't justify. Even as much as this movie amuses me, it's like, what is the point of subjecting these people to like? He's not a Christmas guy who's just like, I watch Christmas things all year round. Like that's not your gimmick. So why is this important?
Yeah. And they got frozen TV dinners. I get it.
Um,
This is really bad. And I'm sorry, of all the places for my baby Vivica Fox, beautiful black princess to be, the snow ain't one of them, buddy.
and
This is
this is it. This is her only scene in the movie, and it's like nothing. Maybe she just wanted to like hang out for a day, and they're like, "Hey, can you just like pop in this for like 2 seconds?" The other girl didn't show up.
dude, I'll be a snow bunny to hang out with Arnold Schwarzenegger on set. I would do that. But that is a little frosty. And oh, wait a minute. And we didn't talk about this. The conceit of him having to use diamonds to make his freeze thing and ice and diamonds, that is brilliant to the point of stupidity. or the other way around. It is that's so amazing that they would put that in there and justify. And they did it just a nice little hand wave line earlier when we were messing around. Just
Oh,
amazing.
I mean, you got to give them credit too. Like that makeup is fantastic, and Arnold Schwarzenegger did not shave his head for this movie.
What?
He refused, so that's a bald cap.
Wow. That is top five ball caps of all time.
You could kind of see it if you're really looking, like right there.
Yeah, I think it'd be I think his glistening skin. I mean, you could see it towards the. You always see it towards the back of the hot dog area on a fat guy. You know, in the hot dog area, you can
The
always
Oscaris Myris section.
yeah, it's going to be called that in the anatomy books that I write.
Now this they did lift straight from the. I mean, his this whole Nora stuff they took straight from the animated series. And it looks cool in live action. Like they did it really well in live action.
I mean, this looks good because it's a class like you can see when people are straining to hold their breath underwater and appear placid. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And she did a great job. They filmed it great. Had nice atmosphere. Behind Bruce Wayne is a picture of all the Ninja Turtles as their actual Renaissance counterparts.
I was just so distracted by Chris O'Donnell just randomly reading an encyclopedia. Like there's just no reason. He just randomly chose one. Damn, Michael Goff had some eyebrows.
Yeah, boy.
Those things just pop in 1080p. There's a lot of behind the scenes stories about Alicia Silverstone in this movie that just are kind of heartbreaking. They designed this like impossible bat suit for anybody to wear. She maybe gained like 3 pounds and they had to kind of retool it. And someone on the art department made this really mean drawing of her, like being a little piggy and put it all up over set. And it just like her weight became such a big part of like the behind the scenes drama of this, which is why the action figure looks different than how she looks in this movie, is because they redesigned the bat suit. But it's just like, how could you look at young Alicia Silverstone here and just be like, like body shame her? It's like, are you kidding me? She's like gorgeous here.
Yeah, it's really psychotic. That part is really that's brutal.
Although we are, I have to say, in terms of just like Batman mythology, there's one thing this movie does that I actually prefer to the real Batman mythology. I think it makes more sense that she's directly related to the Bat Camp than Gordon's daughter. In this, it wouldn't make any sense because we
Yeah.
spent 45 seconds with Jim Gordon over the course of 3 movies at this point.
Dude,
But
and I didn't get to say it, but if you guys want to roll it back to that part where Pat Hinkle is on the Bat TV and he's yelling at Batman, that dude looks like when they have a law enforcement officer on like Fox News, how they show up looking like generals with like 57 stars and bars and a big hat. You know what I mean? That sort of.
By the way, the same commissioner that was ready to do absolutely nothing in Batman Forever at the end when he's like, I guess he's not coming, shut it down. It's like, okay, yeah, you're a real hero.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I love those eyebrows, man.
Just using my real player to watch my brother on an elephant like you do.
Like you do.
I have to say though, the computer monitor he's using, that was very high tech for 1997. To have something like flat screen like that is insane.
Yeah, yeah.
I remember my monitor came out, 3.5 feet until like 2010.
Yeah. My monitor was definitely packing some ass. And you know what I love about Alicia Silverstone? Like she looks like she has no guile. You know,
Mm.
these scenes when she's like literally like smiling at him and stuff. There's such a genuine quality about her, which made it pretty amazing when she does stuff like Clueless, where she has to act like she is clueless and she is
Right.
not. but she has that edge to her because she's so privileged. But there's just she was really doing it at that time, and the fact that people tried to crap on her is really whack.
You know, for all the flack this movie does get, like, it does have a lot of heart. It may be kind of misplaced or cheesy, but like these scenes with Alfred and these characters, like, they do work.
And even like stuff like that, like this little the get up that she has on is sick. The little stripe, she looks like a little troublemaker. It's there's an instant note of danger to that orange stripe. And her whole double life jazz, she's just as rebellious as Dick is. They show rebellion in these movies by sneaking out and riding motorcycles.
And leather pants.
Yeah, leather pants. Like, of course I'm gonna steal a priceless motorcycle and go joyriding.
Dude, that garage is sick.
I mean, that statue is sick.
Look, I mean, look, hold it. What, are those lights? Are those street lights?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm gonna say I know a lot of people hate the like over the top crazy sculptures. That's probably my favorite part of these first few Batmans is like I love the like hellscape of like really odd architecture and statues. And
Yeah.
later on in the movie where they actually use it in the way that you would play with, like your Batmobile toy at home, like that I love. Like, look at this. That's insane, and I love it. It's frightening. It looks otherworldly, but it also like feels very Gotham to me.
Mm-hmm. Dude, that Bane in a trench coat gag. We can't let that pass. He looked like McGruff the crime dog, but
He looked like Inspector Gadget.
yeah, dude, Inspector Gadget that like lifts mad weights.
Oh, there's Gossip Gertie. Bruce. This seems like way too intricate of a satellite system for just a telescope. This is like a $45 billion telescope.
I totally forgot Elle McPherson was in this.
I think Elle McPherson probably forgets that she was in this.
This chick's flamingo glasses are hilarical.
That is Bob Kane's wife, or I think she may have passed now. Not sure. I think so. It's funny because Elle McPherson, who plays Julie Madison, Bruce's at this point quote unquote long term girlfriend, she was supposed to die in this movie, and I think they even shot some stuff where Poison Ivy kills her, but they edited out to.
Oh wow, that would be kind of truly awful. Doctor.
Doctor. Why does George Clooney bobble his head so much? Is it like just like a
Dude.
nervous tick?
It's a tool. It's really gotten him over. Like it's crazy. I mean, he's obviously very very handsome, and he obviously can act a bit, and he's charming in real life. Like as a real
Right.
human being, he's charming as hell.
I mean, this is such an interesting like the thing that kind of like I guess kind of sucks about this is like this movie does bring up like interesting ideas for its villains, like she is very like her intentions are noble, but it's just like because of the way this movie is, it has to be so ham-fisted that there is no room for like nuance.
I mean, but that's comic book movies. Like
That's true. That's
I
true.
think once we figure out that like most of the villains are right and it's just a matter of application and maybe the hero should help the villain do what they were trying to do.
Which is
Like, that's
essentially
gonna
like
be,
what this movie is. Like
Mhm.
you know, again, spoilers, that's kind of where we end up with Freeze at the end of this, you know?
I like big envelopes. Can I say that?
There's a lot of them in these Schumacher movies.
Yeah, they are.
I have an invite. Let go of me.
That theme stated.
It's funny because like you could edit this movie down to like I don't know 55 minutes and make it like much darker and much less comedic, but it would be like 55 minutes. This is great, and I love right here. Like, look, if you screen capped that and that was the first image you saw from this
Hmm.
movie, you're like, damn, this movie's gonna be
Hmm.
intense.
And then you see that he's watching himself eat cake.
And then I love how the tear freezes. But see, it's like any time that they have real emotion in this movie, they feel the need to like pump the brake abruptly,
Hmm. Hmm.
like with a joke, you know? Um, Again, that's why I said like you could edit this movie just down and like imagine if you just took out that one part, uh, and this was all one unbroken sequence, and then the tear comes down, but it freezes on him, like you can't even cry for the
Yeah.
person that you miss. Like that's really good, you know.
Yeah. And honestly, a movie where, again, that's not this movie, that ice sucks. I could not do better. That is a fact. I just don't like it. God, if it really looked icy, I would be like immersed a little bit in Homeboy's stuff. I don't. That's just my pet peeve. Ice in movies that wiggles and waggles, like the Batman ears waggling when they were running to
Oh,
the camera.
at
The
the
last
end of the
one,
last one,
it
yeah.
still kills me. It's still I can't do it. I hate it. It's like I don't know, one of those peccadillos.
Look, if you didn't know where Joel Schumacher stood at this point of the film, I can't help you by the
Yeah,
time we get here.
dude.
You
But
know.
the Tarzan slash Flintstones jungle caveman aesthetic that he repeatedly employs in this movie is interesting.
But again, like imagine if this was a stage play or a stage show. Like essentially you could see how this was like the museum set kind of, redressed up to be this sequence. It feels to me like a
Yeah.
big live stunt show, you know?
Mhm. Absolutely. And that's Bob Kane's wife again. She took her glasses off, but I still recognize her.
This is a weird
Look at him.
sequence.
I'm sorry. Look at
Yeah.
all this crap on his shoulders. Like a ninja's gonna come by and grab one of those stars. Look how it's just ridiculous.
I guess you don't really need Batman and Robin if you're like that decorated, right?
Exactly. Oh
This is
wow.
this whole sequence is kind of interesting. I'm not 100% sure. Like they're bidding on these girls, but it's like, what are we doing here? Is this like
Well,
what are you bidding on?
I think at most charity auctions is like to go out on a date with them, and it's really very formal.
I don't know. This seems really
It's
really
yeah,
sketch, you know?
yeah. But when rich people do it, it's just sort of an eccentric, cute thing.
Well, who
If
was
this
that?
was,
Did you see that extra right there in those glasses? It looked like he
uh,
was straight out of Wild Wild West.
yeah,
Oh man, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, my feelings were starting to form around 10 years old, and this sequence did not help.
so that's why you like to bang apes.
I mean, when she finally drops the ape costume, it might be the sexiest Uma Thurman has ever been in her life, period. Full stop.
Oh snap! She's the hands above her ape nipples is just tantalizing. I love the eye accents; they're sick.
Yeah, it acts as like a quasi like mask in a weird
Mm-hmm.
way, which I think is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
What's kind of crazy is that she gets her superpowers. We saw her get her superpowers. And it's, if you kiss someone, it's venom. But the biggest thing that she does in this movie is that pink dust, the pheromone dust, and we really don't spend time figuring out how she got that. Come on. Oh man,
And
she's
that was
really
our
lucky there was people there.
that was our first trust fall of the
Right?
evening. Now we're gonna walk across hot coals because we got we got this island motif. We might as well do the whole thing, Tony
You got
Robbins
like
style.
Mowgli's from the Jungle Book just laying down for you to step on.
Multiple Mowgli's on deck. Just Batman and Robin hanging out anywhere just makes me so angry. But it's just like, what are you gonna do with that, loser?
But I
They're
mean,
doing
it
it.
definitely is, the 60s TV show where Batman
It
and
is.
Robin are like public servants, not
Yep.
creatures of the night.
Yep. Oh, but like I said, I think last recording, Michael Uslan has a whole thing where he's like, the movies went forward from 1939 to the 60s in their tone. That's pretty sexy for like for
I
like a
know.
kids
Both of
movie.
us are just like silently. See, this again implies to me some sort of, cash for sex trade.
Hey, but at least she's empowered in this. I mean, they're literally at her whim. I think this is how sex workers see themselves as as Poison Ivy. I'll borrow it from you. Just out me as the richest guy.
Here we go. It's funny. It's dumb.
Ah! Ah!
You know what's crazy is Mr. Freeze has this car. It's the one toy that they didn't make. They didn't make the Mr. Freeze car because I
Are
had
you
like all the
serious?
Batman and Robin toys, and they didn't make
That's
that car.
crazy. That's
Right?
crazy. That's crazy. That thing is a tank. It could go anything. I mean, it could go anywhere, do anything. Kind of like that two kick sequence. That's pretty sick.
I mean, that's pretty cool too.
Yep.
And then the kip up.
So these are some of the most decorated members of the force, who also look kind of like Mounties or something. Yeah. I love throwing guys at other guys. It is my single favorite combat move in movies. It's sorely underused as well. That's preposterous. Even in this world.
I can't justify that one either.
Fine lady. I love this though. This is so stupid, but it's great.
Your heart's not literally cold.
I love it. It's a metaphor.
I mean, that's kind of funny.
And these are oddly opposed creatures, you know. One is trying to grow and needs sunlight and all this kind of jazz, and one's cold and tundra like. Say goodnight, Gracie.
I'm just surprised that they came up with that many cold and ice puns for Arnold. Like he has a new one every time.
Hey
You'd think
man,
they'd run out after a little
they
while.
they they went to the comedy clubs back then. They went to the flappers of their day and started collecting, a room and just came up with a bunch of them.
Come on, that's kind of funny. All right, this sequence coming up is my favorite sequence in the whole movie, which is the chase through Gotham and then through the statue. I mean, it's just like I'm such a sucker for seeing things on screen that like I would imagine like as a kid playing with my toys on the couch, you know? And that's exactly what this sequence is. It's just like seeing
Well, these statues are like all types of communistic countries, super fresh statues, like Polish statues and
right.
Russian statues, but also like J.C. Leyendecker type of situation, and also like a little Bern Hogarth type stuff with like some of the faces, how you can see every muscle in their faces.
I mean, it's also just frightening to me that their streets are like a bajillion miles up in the sky, you know? But come on, like I think this is cool. I don't know why people crap on this sequence. Like, wouldn't you want to see Batman drive down a statue
I mean, yeah, I think
at
if we're
this
gonna
point
be
in
in
this
this
movie?
world, yeah, and if we're gonna be in this world,
Right?
why not do this?
This is hilarious to me, even as a kid, where he's like, it's too dangerous to make the jump. So he just basically almost kills him right here to make sure that he doesn't jump and kill himself. Like, this is the most dangerous way to
Right?
stop him from making this jump.
And wait a minute, he just sky surfed down from 5 billion feet.
Like, look how close he comes to actually killing Robin, trying to keep Robin from killing himself.
Robin's super mad. So homeboy's big tank can make it better than these other fools. Uh, Here we go.
I always thought there's a shot coming up here that looks really odd. You'll see it. This right here looks like two animatronics.
Hmm. I kind of love it though. Like that the whole we're gonna resolve this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We got stuff to do in this movie. We got Alicia Silverstone to body shame. We got all types of stuff we need to keep
I
doing.
love that shot right there. That's
That's
cool lighting.
sick. Yeah.
But I remember seeing this movie the very first time, and I was like, look, the logic of a 10-year-old. You're like, wow, I can't believe they caught Mr. Freeze, and like, there's no way this movie's over yet, you know?
Right.
Like, back then, that was pretty cool for your villain to kind of get caught in the middle of the movie, you know? I mean, look, I'd be pissed too if you almost like killed me and made me, disengage. Like you couldn't like make my motorcycle come to a slow stop.
Or you couldn't I don't know, like have a sidecar on there for me to grab on, and we could go jump and grab the guy together and get frozen and fail together for a little bit and then win together. Gotta do it yourself, Batman.
This computer is for 1997 is freaking amazing.
Yeah, if you had this computer in 1997, your daddy had several boats.
Who had a CD burner in 1997?
Dude, I tell you that. I mean, I don't. Damn, I'm old. I went to a basketball camp and saw my first actual CD player. I was like, "Whoa, what's that?" Like a DVD, a DVD rewritable situation. I was like, "Whoa!"
I could use this again. this is, I always feel like Alfred. The one thing that kind of sucks between the four movies is that Alfred's advice is always sound for that movie, but the next movie he like completely contradicts himself. I feel like this is goes at odds with like what he said in other movies.
Yeah,
This one at least, this flashback right here at least, it's
at
not as
least
random as slipping and falling.
yes. So basically, uh, and nobody's accounted for this chick.
Yeah, how long has she been gone?
I guess they had that whole adventure last night, right? While she was out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know a keto, ma'am? Yeah. Just imagine the makeup artist that got to put dirt on her face. Jealous.
It's funny though because it's like literally just on one cheek and everything else is like 100% perfection. Damn, Chris O'Donnell had some nice skin too. Now I loved this because we didn't get to really see inside Arkham too much last time, and I just thought it was really cool that not only that we got a little Jesse the Body Ventura cameo, which yeah, why not, right?
Why
Why is there green
not?
lightning?
Because Homeboy loves green. Like Schumacher should have directed the damn Hulk movie.
I actually like this little like refrigerator they have to deliver him in.
It's an ice box.
He loves to butt different people's heads together. That's like his move.
Some of the best acting and Schwarzenegger's whole oeuvre right here.
I mean, this is also kind of freaky when he turns around and his eyes are all like bloodshot.
Yeah, that's pretty creepy.
Well, this is kind of mean because you can see the toilet on the other side of the room. How is he supposed to go take
Uh-huh.
a crap?
Very uncomfortably. And if he doesn't eat some fiber, it's going to be uncomfortable on two fronts.
I mean, all things considered, that is a huge jail cell. And here's Inspector Gadget.
Dude. Oh, Inspector Bank.
Now, I have gone on record in Batman Forever that I kind of like the neon gangs in Gotham. I think it's just comic booky and dumb enough, but I I can't really help you if you don't like it. Like that reminds me of like the mutants from Dark Knight
Yeah, I
Returns.
mean, the leader looks cool. He looks like Darth Maul.
Yeah, a little bit.
I mean, that sort of motif.
But I just, I said it in the Batman Forever episode, but I like the idea of like, well, what would a gang in Gotham where like everyone's a supervillain, like do you really think like what's so scary about just a guy with a backwards hat and, low rider
Yeah.
pants? You kind of almost it's the escalation. You almost kind of have to be like, super freaky.
Yeah. do 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 do. You're right. You're absolutely right. These hot topic ass chains.
I just wonder, like, if you're in the Neon Gang, like, you have to probably start getting ready for the night at like 4 p.m. Like, it's going to take you a
Dude,
while to put
just
that makeup on.
the neon gang guy at AMC theaters making popcorn, looking at his watch. Oh man, I gotta go, bro. I got 3 hours of makeup before I do my hooligan stuff tonight.
I mean, there are like this scene, like there are moments in this movie, like, okay, I get it. Like, she's going to make a new layer here. Like, we can move on to the next thing, you know?
Well, no, we gotta hang out with Uma Thurman. Because I mean Uma Thurman, and I'm not trying to be sexist or reductive, she is production value in this movie. And they have to get the most out of it.
I mean, if anything, just for like her sheer amount of costume changes she's going to go through.
And
I
I, I
think she
like
was
I like
hosting the damn Oscars with as many times as she changes.
she's had many monologues throughout here. She's got many bits she's got to do. I mean, now that I know what I know about Poison Ivy, the fact that they were able to get this good a version of Poison Ivy back in the days is it's kind of shocking actually that they got the character this much. Because like she obviously is over the top for this movie, but like a lot of this is all right. I've been your beard for over a year now.
How has she been with him for a year and doesn't even have an inkling that something is off?
It always bothered me about Batman's schedule, like the fact that he could actually like bang chicks and fight crime and stuff. Because that means like 2 or 3 nights a week you have to not be on.
Right.
You'd have to
But that's
keep
the
all
whole
that up.
point of building the Bat family is so that maybe you can take Wednesdays and Fridays off, right?
Yeah.
That's a Nightwing night, you know?
You know what I think would be funny? Like if Batman was all effete and rich and great and supermodel girlfriend and super vehicles and all that stuff, but he had really low class tastes. Like he'd like to go to like Golden Corral and stuff. Like just this rich ass dude pulls a Maserati up there.
I mean, I know it was blatant product placement, but that's kind of what they did with Tony Stark in that first Iron Man. He comes back and he just wants a
Mm.
Burger King, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And he went to the famous Randy's Donuts, which is not low class by any means, but like yeah, sort of pop culture food.
Right, right. What does this magnifying glass do that helps?
Hey, but you just saw more detective work that was done in all of Nolan's movies. I'm just joking.
But
on
I'm
that
like,
one. You
he
know what I
puts
mean?
the glass over it and it doesn't change size. Like, what was the point of that? Here we go. This is what I come to a Batman movie for. The Fast and Furious bike chase scenes.
Yes. Yeah, it's all about family here in Neon Gotham. Look at that fire. Look at that fire. That's like Zatanna made that fire.
I don't think I've ever noticed before the green fire. That seems like a weird gang to be in the Prince Bat Dance suit and the Droogs.
Yeah, the Droogs, the Clockwork Orange boys. Yeah.
Again, it just goes with my theory that you'd have to be. And Coolio just gets to be Coolio. He doesn't have to put anything on.
Right? He's already ready for Gotham. He's got money tipped to his chest.
He's wearing it like a necklace.
Wearing money like a necklace. That's so meta. That's a hat on a hat.
I think you just have to be in a gang in Gotham. Like you, that's some RoboCop 2 stuff right there. That little 8-year-old boy. But it's like you'd have to be over the top to be in a gang because what gangs like we know today are just not scary in Gotham. You know?
Yeah.
That 8-year-old kid is that must have been like he won a contest or something to be in the new Batman movie.
But you don't think he's acting good enough as as a tiny gang member?
You know the motorcycle helmets that look like the full skulls kind of reminds me of the Red Triangle Circus Gang from Batman Returns.
Huh. Yeah. This is a wild ass place to be racing through. That's another thing. Okay, on some real stuff, I don't understand how people know the routes. I don't get it. I'm bad at racing games for that reason. Like sometimes
Right.
everybody's going some different direction. I'm like, wait a minute. Who says that's the track? There's a lot of places we can go.
Yeah.
And what's in and out of bounds? Like people are jumping through different areas. Well, what is cutting across the infield, as it were, in the race? Like what's out of bounds if everybody's just going hell for leather like this? I never get this stuff.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. Like, do they give you like a map before you start? You know, like when you go to Disneyland and they give you a little map when you get there.
Right. They give you a big old neon map. Look at that fire. That is so crazy. Damn.
Damn.
Yeah, I
I
hate when
mean,
people hate on this movie because it does disrespect the stunt work. Look at that. That was a nice practical stunt. Shot pretty well.
this is definitely like Fast and Furious, like 5 6 years before Fast and Furious.
Just having fun with my man Brian. I like these
Also, okay,
bridges.
now this is the part of this that where it makes no sense at all because it's like we're down to four now. Now we're down to three, and these are all. This is the guy who challenged her and the two people we know. But there's no end to this race. Like it's just set up to kill the two characters we know. Like this guy stops. Like what was the point of this race?
Right. If you're gonna screw
There's
everybody at the end.
yeah. I don't understand. Like was this never a real race to begin with? Or is like them jumping out and doing fire like that was supposed to be the finish line? I don't know. This makes no sense. Ooh, this stresses me out a lot. Like I would not feel safe right now. I'd be like, stop quipping and figure out how you're going to get us up.
And that's the part where Robin goes, "You weigh a lot more than 108."
Yeah. I'm kind of bummed that they don't show how he gets out of there.
I am very happy that they did it because it would have been some more preposterous crap.
But
And
it's
I
like
think,
they also had to like somehow go back and be like, "Hey, did we win?" You know?
dude, I love her right side of the face dirt. It's beautiful. She looks like Barney Rubble right now, bro.
Hey, Fred. I mean, she makes incredibly valid points about Alfred, and the only defense that the either of the guys have is like, but he likes it, you know?
Yeah, dude. It's like a horse. It's like I know he likes to be ridden and have stuff jammed into his toes so he can run on roads. He loves it. I mean, that's the one thing. I mean, honestly, overall, people say so many things about how problematic Batman is. The only one I really don't like of these type of characters, not just Batman, is just they always have this faithful person willing to do anything for him all the time. It goes all the way back to like Doc Savage and people like that. They always have this assist or Bernardo from Zorro. They always have this person that's just willing to like lay on the train tracks for him all the time, and it's like I don't know, man.
Bernardo? Who the hell's Bernardo?
That guy from Zorro. He's like what's his name? He's like Zorro's buddy that'll like do anything for him.
Philippe?
Maybe that's his name. I don't know.
I really enjoy the name Bernardo, though. I mean, look, this is just
I don't
proof
know.
that you need to stop your life of crime because you have a very promising future as a sculptor. Like that's not just something you make because you're bored, you know?
Well, they say that I'm not hot enough to be a sculptor.
I loved. Oh, they're not going to show. They'll show in a minute, but they show like the storage room of Arkham Asylum, and I love when that scene pops up. Another costume change.
I mean, this one is fresh, man. I think it's dope. I mean, it looks kind of ugly as far as the color, but it's pretty fresh.
It looks like very comic booky, which I
Yeah.
appreciate. I like that she has like the fingernails painted on her gloves.
Yes.
Why does that guy only have one eye?
I think when he headbutted him, it's a Jesse Ventura. Jesse Ventura's mustache chopped his eye out.
This scene, because it's just like, look, proof that those other adventures take place in this universe and it happened. You know?
Dude, that window is hilarious. Like you're leaning up against the one window in a giant evidence repository full of the deadliest stuff ever.
Bane playing supermarket sweep.
This is great, yeah. It's like, wait a minute, my almost not in here, just a bunch of bananas.
That D.
That iced D. Here are your clothes.
Yikes.
I mean, that was take 5 billion.
Right? They're like, they just let him improv, and that's what he came up with.
But look at that suit though. That doesn't suck. I mean, it's a little busy, but like it's kind of interesting.
I mean, that's the only thing. It's like you might as like it would be a interesting race to see who would finish first, the neon makeup guy or Freeze putting on that suit.
Right. It's just so funny. She touches his chest to activate him, like touching a Care Bear in its tummy or whatever.
Like if this wasn't so cheesy at this point, this is actually like kind of cool, you know?
Yeah. But also, okay, you got this dude whose outpowers are ice powers, who's physically stronger than anybody. Why do you keep his super dope equipment the same place where you keep him? But I guess that's why he broke it to the. But again, that repository of weapons is on the Arkham place. You know what I mean? On the Arkham property.
Something tells me that that suit is not waterproof.
Yeah. Wow.
I have a soft spot for like those old optical effects of people jumping off things. I know that's very specific, but I can't help it.
Yeah, that is a specific fetish. It's like Easter bunnies and it is. He did teach him that because, like, they see those things where Bruce has all his back is all messed up. He
Right.
never tells Ellen McPherson about that.
I mean, Clooney's turtleneck game is on point in this movie.
I mean, Batman as a character's turtleneck game is on 5,000. Because you have to have a neck to pull off a turtleneck. If you don't have a neck, then the turtleneck just looks stupid. You
That
have to
shot,
see it.
that shot of them running towards the Batcave is like it feels so '60s Batman.
Very much.
It's just so odd in this movie, and I don't.
Look at this! That's amazing!
I love that someone took that photo and didn't think anything was out of the ordinary. What I was gonna say is it's so interesting in this movie, like how lit the bat suit is, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But again, like I kind of like that it's like this like borderline dark, dark blue, you know. I also like that it doesn't have the yellow in the emblem, which I always thought
Yeah.
was kind of weird. I know that there's some comic that tried to justify it some why he does the yellow, but I always thought that was kind of dumb.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Better take her into custody for aiding and abetting a felon.
How does she breathe in there?
I know it's kind of like that abyss juice that Ed Harris was breathing when he went down into the trench.
You had me at abyss juice. You do not need to explain any further. From now on, whenever we do a reboot it, I feel like we must put abyss juice in there.
Hyperoxygenated fluid is what is what it is supposedly.
It is like kind of strange and dumb that her only motivation for working with Freeze is just to bang him. Like like she doesn't want anything from him. It feels like very male fantasy, you know?
Also, why does her pheromone dust like? Why is it visible? That you can you can track it down a vent. It's so weird. I mean, to the characters, I mean, like, to us as an audience, I can get that sort of thing, but my lungs are freezing.
I like that his AC system is just hot or cold. There's no
I love
temperature.
Dude, I also love how Pat Hengel holds onto that folder with the stuff in it. Look, he's still got the folder under his hand. He's just like, oh, I got this manila folder. I'm never going to let it go. Oh, God.
Batman does nothing to stop Robin from just running to get his ass kicked. He's just like, all right, yeah, let me know how that goes.
It's like, hey, this is a feel-out game. This is game one. I let Robin roll up there and take the punches. Then I'll come through game two.
I will say, this Batman fares better against Bane than Christian Bale did. He actually got some good shots off on this one.
Yep.
Ouch.
Well, Batman gets hit like a lot, like by whack blows, like a lot in this movie. That's just part of it. Atomically correct.
He just has no regard for Robin in this movie in terms of just like, go help him, do something.
But then he's so concerned about him that he won't let him do the evil Knievel
Right.
jump.
Oh, you can see the rip in the costume.
I think that's a breathable air hole, like a gill.
Well, Batman needs some abyss juice then. I don't want gills in my suit.
It looks like the deep from the boys. I turned it back to hot, boys.
If you're Mr. Freeze and that's like where you live, why would you even have a hot option?
Yeah, I don't know. Kick.
Yeah, what was the plan here, boys?
That's I mean that's another one of my pet peeves. It's like, trust me, I'm not against cops at all, and I'm not super for them. But seeing them all crash in a big heap every time the hero does anything marginally cool sucks.
Dude, Chris O'Donnell looks like he's about to nut right now. Like, if you've ever wanted to know what his O face looks like.
Chris O'Donnell. Ooh, that's on the nose. Now he made him into the Joker.
I was just about to say, he is very lucky that that didn't turn him into Joker. Like, that Batman Beyond movie where Tim Drake, like, is the Joker.
Oh man.
What is that, like, mint chocolate chip?
And somehow it's healed him. Hey, he didn't answer a question on Nickelodeon.
I like that Commissioner Gordon, like, scolds him. He's like, bitch, you do nothing, ever. Don't you come at me.
Hey, I came with a manila folder and I held on to it while my lungs were being frozen. That's something, Batman.
Why are you guys playing? You can't do that on television.
I double dare you guys to catch the That underwater motif is fresh as hell, though. Honestly, this is the best filmed part of that movie.
More statues. Oh, they cleaned out that pool pretty well. I mean, look, as ridiculous as this looks, like, are you telling me that this isn't pretty cool to see, like, the production design of these two things together, you know?
I mean, yeah, the hot and cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like a Two-Face's crib in the comics. There's like one side that's garish and dirty, and one side that's fastidious and clean because of the two sides of his mind. That's kind of like that motif, but like cold and tropical.
Okay, the effect didn't age well, but the intent was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Man, he is really trying to act.
Alas, poor Yorick, they stole my woman.
See, again, like, I just don't understand. This is such an odd pairing of villains because, like, she should be like, how about instead of that? uh,
Yeah. How about we fight the man?
I mean, she's really trying to justify it, but it's just like, if everything's frozen forever, how are you going to grow anything? Like, where did these little shop of horrors things come from? Like, that's the thing with Poison Ivy. She just keeps introducing things as if we've already established them earlier in the movie. You know?
Nope. I'm just a creative genius. She's like the Steve Jobs of messed up plants.
To that end, though, it is cool that like that was like a big part of like the animated series was them like tussling with those like mutant flowers. It's like, man, you got
Hmm.
that in a movie.
Yep.
Hats off to you.
Oh, and I
Oh
should also
man.
say she's the Steve Wozniak of of mutant plants because she actually makes the technology.
Man, Alfred went like from 0 to 100 with this disease. He was like totally walking around a scene before this.
Yeah, but he, in the very first scene, he was sort of swooning and stuff. So he's just very resolute British man about it.
Well, if he's in stage 1 of 4, like those 2 through 4 has got to be brutal.
Wait a minute, how do they resolve this? Because I haven't seen this in so many years, bro. If does like poison ivy stuff save him or something?
Do you really want me to tell you like
No, no,
with
don't,
40
don't.
minutes to go?
No, no. I'll just see it when it happens. Because it's funny how this thing's gonna resolve. Because I'm close to the edge. I'm trying not to lose my
And I'm
head.
about to break. I actually think they have pretty good chemistry together. I know people didn't like quote unquote whiny Robin, but I kind of liked the chemistry between them here. Like it felt like they had more chemistry than the Val Kilmer and him.
Well, I think it's just one of those things where even for the logic of this movie, Robin being see this situation about like I want a Robin signal in the sky and she loves me, not you. Even in this world, that's still crossing the line, man. Batman has really like saved your ass and helped you out a lot, bro.
He also almost killed him in that chase.
You keep bringing up old stuff, Billy.
Well, and he cock blocked him back at the ice cream factory.
At the ice cream factory. You cock blocked me at the ice cream factory.
That's a legitimate summary of the last scene.
That's gonna be in the future. That's gonna be the whole motivation of the whole movie.
That is the central wound.
Oh man, fucking. Oh, sorry. Like I again, so adorable. Just she's just wanting to help, and he like loves her, and he hasn't been able to be in her life as much as he wants to because he's been making belts and weapons for a psycho.
Didn't we already unveil this like an hour ago?
All these machines look alike, dude. I couldn't tell you if this was.
I mean, this looks like Wayne Zelinsky's shrinking machine from Honey I Shrunk the Kids. Or maybe that just looks like a telescope. I don't know.
It does look like a telescope, or like the bone that they threw up in the sky in 2001. Jeez Louise.
Yep.
Damn, you did the most dedicated, useless mother trucker ever.
All right, now I'm getting a good look at the jacket. Man, they really dropped the ball on Commissioner Gordon in these movies. Even like Batman and Batman Returns that I, love dearly. I don't it just never was a priority for them.
You're right. And Pat Hingle, honestly, if we're gonna talk about acting talent, Pat Hingle murders everybody in this movie, and he gets to be like, "Ah, I'm stupid. I'm gonna give away the store for a simple kiss. Here's the keys to the bat light. Do whatever you want. I hold
This
them
is
in the
my favorite
envelope."
part. And he's like, "No." That's so sad. That's his last line in this movie.
See, that's disgusting. And wait a minute, she was gonna kiss him and like kill him.
Yeah.
Doesn't her kiss kill people? So she doesn't want to kill him because
I
he's too
for
old.
whatever reason, she was just like, "Nah, you're too old." I'm like, "But he's the commissioner." Okay.
Well, I'm glad he didn't get murdered, but ageism is not okay.
There's a lot of this monologuing, like telling us their plans, but it's like we already know what your plan is. You already said it 2 scenes ago. Like that's why I said like you can cut this movie down a lot, you know?
Yeah.
I always thought this was a really cool visual. They use it in the trailer and I was just like, "Man, like look at this. That's awesome."
Hmm.
If you had seen this divorced of the entire movie, just that image of him lifting that bat signal, you'd be like, "This movie's going to be awesome."
Like, yeah, that scene cut with like more dramatic music.
Right.
Dude, every time I see a CD in these movies, I think Batman's gonna scratch on it.
Yeah, his password's Alfred. Come on.
Okay, Wayne. Yeah, that's gonna be stupid. It's fun. That is funny. Though that is really funny.
Like, try a little harder.
Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
One, enter. Nope. Two, enter. Nope. I do genuinely love this moment, and it gives him that little like kiss on the forehead. Like, it's like the only movie to really kind of force Batman to or Bruce to kind of acknowledge that, like he can save people again and again, but like he can't stop them from dying of cancer or, old age or whatever it is.
Or McGregor syndrome.
Or McGregor syndrome, stage 1.
Yeah, it's reading him Zorro and Count of Monte Cristo, and he wonders why he turned out to be a psycho.
Right. It's the anarchist cookbook.
Now this is how you make.
Napalm.
Yep. Just a few household chemicals and the right combination. He's gonna rub his hand down his face like face off.
I thought he was gonna like smother him with a pillow, like to put him out of his misery.
Ah! Like, I'll miss you, Sir Ian McKellen. What'd you try?
Yeah, I was just thinking. I was like, Bruce, England. Come on, these are getting worse.
Dog, cat.
Now they say this is a continuity error. She just looked at the photo and there was no writing on it. And then she's gonna look again, and the signature will be there. I think it's very deliberate.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. But this dude is allowed into the most unhackable computers in the history of the planet, and his password is Peg.
Which the unrealistic part to me is like most passwords have to be at least 6 characters with a numeral.
Yeah, what does that say? Batman's whole joint is right here. That's the weak point. Peg. And there's a clue right on his desk. It's not like that's some hidden, you know what I mean? That's so crazy. At least Peg 13, capital exclamation point.
Right.
Capital exclamation point. Capital P Peg 13, exclamation point.
Ampersand.
Yeah, something weird. Bracket. A closed bracket.
Oh, the Robin signal. That's kind of cool. This joke legitimately is funny.
Ah!
Which I never got as a kid, but now I get it. She wants to kill you, dick. I'm worried George Clooney's head's just gonna pop off if he keeps moving it like that.
The George Clooney bobblehead is like a hat on a hat.
I've seen this movie, I don't know how many hundreds of times, literally hundreds of times. I don't know why I don't remember ever seeing this scene before.
That was great.
Ah,
It's so funny how, and these stupid. What is this? He set up like Wi-Fi enablers all over
it's,
the
the
place.
Wi-Fi extender just to make
Yeah,
sure he gets signal.
I missed this important call.
That didn't make any sense. Put on your Sunday finest. It's time to feast. That has nothing cold related. I was wrong. I said they never ran out of stuff. I clearly forgot about this scene. They did run out of shit to say.
Just imagine you're just in a sound stage. There's nothing around. You see, he's matted in. You see how obviously
Right.
he's matted in. So it's like you're just in the sound stage looking at tennis balls and stuff, and you got all this makeup and crap and ball cap on. Crazy, man. Just to have to emote that much in such a sterile environment.
The security system for the Batcave is so ass backwards because when there's an intruder, everything turns on as opposed to why doesn't it all lock down? It's like intruder alert, turn on all the bat computers, bring up the Batmobile because there's a stranger in here.
Right. Oh, this Max Headroom joint.
Simulation. I mean, everyone thinks it's like super perverted and gross that he makes her a Batgirl suit. I can't disagree. It is kind of weird and perverted and gross because he puts nipples in them.
Dude, that's just Alfred's sensibilities, okay?
I mean, I guess if Alfred's like completely asexual and it's purely like tactile nipples, then for your niece, then maybe it's not weird. I don't know.
Or like some Transor Z, like they shoot
Right.
off and stab people or something.
Unless she's like a fembot, there's no need to weaponize nips.
And they're already weaponized enough, brother. It'd be fun if the Predator was just in there.
I mean, the thing about this whole thing is like you almost have to like give credit where credit's due. Like this is all like a really awesome soundstage. Like none of this is fake. Like you are seeing everything. You know.
I mean, this Busby Berkeley jazz right here is pretty cool. But I've liked a lot. I mean, I think this is awakening some like I don't know interior design, costume, like that sort of quite flamboyant feelings in me about this. All of these, all of the set decoration and the way she's costumed and everything.
Yeah, it's just like if Batman was a really crazy like stage show, Vegas stage show at the MGM Grand, you know?
Oh yes, baby. I love Homeboy sideburns.
I tried to get my sideburns to do that when I was 10 years old because I just loved them so much. This is great. This is what I come to comic book movies for. This right here. Lip condoms.
Oh,
Brilliant.
the world's first dental dam used in Batman and Robin, 1997.
And here it comes. Oh no, I was wrong. Never mind. It's just Batman. Why is his cape attached to his boots?
Because I think they thought it was indignant that it would just be flopping it down.
Now here it comes. Damn it, I was wrong again. When is Batgirl breakthrough? Oh, there it is. Okay. So she gets the big crashing through the ceiling treatment in this movie.
Sucky.
I actually kind of like the, the redesign without the ears, although it's just like there's why wear a mask at this point?
Yeah.
But that's the thing, it's like if anyone could get away with it, it's her because everyone knows who Bruce Wayne is, so he couldn't do it. Everyone knows who
You see
Dick
that
Grayson
reversal
is.
shot they just did when he pops out of the water and then goes back? They just reversed the film.
Oh,
He
they do
didn't
that a
go up
lot
and
in
do it.
these.
Yeah.
But it's like no one knows who Barbara. Well, she's not Gordon. I don't know what her name is. No one knows who Barbara is, so she might as well. Like, they're not going to find out.
Yeah. I always thought it was weird in comic books how like they'll make Batwoman have a wig, and it's like that's just part of another thing that could get knocked off or
Yeah.
grabbed or all types of stuff. It just seems like a unnecessary part of it.
So that knife that she just took out, that was supposed to be the knife that was already introduced in the movie that would have killed Julie Madison earlier.
Oh.
Now this I don't understand. Like you were just sitting in it. Why is it now eating you?
Yeah, I don't.
They clearly didn't know how to end Ivy's story, so they just stop it, you know? Bruce, it's me, Barbara. Come on. Those nipples are outrageous. What were they thinking?
I'm gonna take a drop out of that one. So I'm gonna drop that out. Those nipples are outrageous.
I mean, it doesn't bother me on the guys, but it does look a little weird on her. The teeth is pretty cool. The teeth lighting up.
Mm-hmm. He's got one of those whitening retainers that.
Right.
Yeah, you freeze that matte painting.
Yeah, that is a matte painting for sure. But I have such a soft spot for matte paintings. Like I truly miss that in movies.
Yeah.
No, not Taco Bell.
No.
Dude, I can't even tell you how many times I went to Taco Bell when this movie came out because I wanted to collect all the cups, and then I was convinced that I was going to win the real Batmobile because you just had to match two of like the stickers on the cups.
That's wild.
I think I made my parents drop at least a grand in Taco Bell in June and July of 1997.
But mom, I gotta get the Batmobile. Plus, I gotta get fat.
Like between that and the Jurassic Lost World Jurassic Park watches at Burger King that summer, like 1997 is when I became obese. That is, I had that toy. Whatever the hell Batman is driving, which
Bat
is
skiff.
it was like the Bat Ice Hammer. I had both of those. I had that and then Barbara's ice motorcycle. I did not have the crazy, jet fan whatever Robin's driving because that was lame.
Yeah, it is. Robin's vehicle.
Everyone has. I mean, everyone else has like this like flame exhaust, and he's just got like a Black and Decker fan.
Well, dude, he's got one of those like them swamp boats.
But I also just love that in this. First of all, I love that the motorcycle just keeps going on its own
Oh, of
perfection. But two, I also love that Batman was just like, someday I may need ice vehicles, and he's just been like, yes, I finally got to use it.
Excellent.
But I did have the toy that he drives, and it was awesome.
And an ice beam repelling armor plating.
Why
I'm
would
gonna
you not
use
make your
that.
whole suit that?
Yeah.
I remember that sequence being longer as a kid, but I guess not.
It's just so exciting. How buff is this guy to make Schwarzenegger look little?
I mean, Jeep Swenson was a big guy. Rest in peace. I think he died not too long after this movie came out. I also love this third act because there's a crazy amount of batarangs and grappling hooks in it.
Oh yeah.
Mask on a mask.
Yeah, it just throws it down. Somebody's gonna grab it, do the DNA. Now they know that you're Barbara Alfred's uncle.
Look at this. Look at all this pomp and circumstance just to get from one platform to the next.
But I mean, the Batarang grapple jazz is a big part of the Batman stuff.
It is. And he had time to patent and produce a bunch of those heaters. That's pretty neat.
But dude, given the Nolan universe, he actually had to subcontract 5 Chinese companies to make different components.
Now, see, in Batman, here's the thing. It's like, I get it, it's crass. I really like these costumes. I think they're ridiculous and I love them. But at least in Batman Forever, there was a reason why he put it on. It was like, it was the only suit left. This one, he's like, they literally stop what they're doing to go home and change just cuz, and then go out.
They have to sell the toy. That's why.
But the thing that's just like insane was like they didn't sell this suit. They sold like neon green Batman, but to get that suit, like they didn't really make it.
That's kind of crazy.
But I do think it looks pretty fresh. The Nightwing in the silver. I love too that Chris O'Donnell said that he never worked a single day with Arnold Schwarzenegger. In fact, he met him at the premiere. More grappling hooks.
Yes.
This is a whole sequence of Look, there's no gills in his.
Okay, maybe it was a rip.
It was just a rip. They're like, screw it. We got a union. We got to get out of here. Like she's got the bat bola.
Oh Jesus! I mean, and not for any mean reason, but that's just.
I mean, I was like, is this really where you're gonna that sticks in your craws? Cheesy?
No, no. I mean, that was really terrible, though. Like, I mean, I think it's just the line reading, maybe. You know what I mean?
What is Batman doing? Why is he acting like a weirdo like that?
Well, he's like one of those dudes who stretch their spines.
This is my favorite bat grappling hook, by the way.
Bungee bat.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. That was a weak kick.
For all that swinging, yeah.
Right.
That's very Star Wars right there, that last one.
Yeah.
Batman's cape, though, I gotta say, in these movies, Batman's cape most of the time is empirically superior to the Nolan cape. I gotta say that. It looks like leather. It looks heavy a lot of the time. When you get close to it, it looks like leathery.
Yeah, there's like weight and heft to it, which much to the chagrin of the actors, because I think it weighed like 40 pounds, but and it's like pulling on your neck, you know.
Right.
I mean, yeah, Chris O'Donnell figured out how to beat Bane before Christian Bale did.
Oh man, he's gonna get little. That's so funny.
And then they use a baby crying sound effect.
Yes. And I love how they look, how Alicia Silverstone and Chris O'Donnell look at each other. It's like how when Neil Patrick Harris was in Starship Troopers was like, it's afraid. That's how they looked at Bane, like, look at this fool, we killed him.
I mean, look, if you're gonna do a catchphrase, that was pretty sick, you know.
Dude, they should drop the song. The heat is on.
I mean, at this point, it wouldn't be out of place.
On the street. Mm-mm.
You have like 95 grappling hooks. Can you at least pull them up so they're not just hanging on the end of this microscope or telescope?
Telescope.
I don't think this is how sunlight works, but you know what? It works for this movie. I mean, because, yeah, like, there's a lot. I'm trying to, like, justify this movie at this point, and I know I can't, so just.
Oh, there's a lot of stupid ridiculousness, but again, this is where the rubber meets the road as far as how much of a comic book superhero is Batman. Because this guy's a superhero. He saved the whole city from utter extinction.
And here comes the Wi-Fi extenders.
Oh, yes.
Boom. Oh, he broke his suit. Oh no, baby Bane.
Dude, it'd be funny if they slipped in Bane juice.
Like, oh my god, he's full of abyss juice.
So he planned to blow everything up.
Well, his contingency was to just wreck everything, I guess. I don't know.
Dude, Batman surfing this wreckage down is hilarious.
I mean, that was a pretty cool POV of it, though.
Yeah. All right, guys, it's gonna be some Iron Man 3 stuff. Here we go. Or was it Iron Man 2? Whatever one where he saved all those like 13 people. He says complicated.
He says, "Grab onto my belt," and it's like the one suit that he owns that there is no belt on this one. There's just like a jagged silver line.
Well, I think that was a euphemism for grab onto my Johnson, my fat Johnson. Both of you. You say that you never show what they grabbed onto at all. They just omit that. Bye. Was it good for you guys?
Grappling hook.
This is very grapple. But
watch how much they jump though when they arrive. Watch this.
Whoa. Whoa.
Now wait a second. You're gonna tell me you're a computer genius and you guessed Wayne
England?
and Alfred and England?
Hey, she's straight.
Where was this genius when you were hacking into the Batcave?
This is straight up Jurassic Park-esque, baby.
I'm a hacker.
Hey, but I love again though. At least they got that part right from the comics that like Homegirl is ill on the computers.
It's just such a turnaround from England, you know.
Well, I think maybe she was outsmarting herself, thinking that like old people have simple passwords. Which she was right. I mean, she was right in the end. Old people do have simple passwords.
Oh, good. Taco Bell's okay.
Ah! Oh, I got all this rubber on my car. What happened?
I do love looking at like just over complicated Gotham City matte shots. Like there's just something that like warms my heart about it.
Well, just this fool went back to selling. He's like, hey, without missing a beat. This movie knows what it's trying to be. I think it was important that I mentioned Starship Troopers earlier because Starship Troopers is trying to be something, and people are stupid by calling it bad because
Right.
they don't really get what it's trying to be. This is kind of bad, but it's trying to be this.
Yeah, 100%. Uh, I think it knows what it wants to be, and it doesn't quite execute all of it well, but its intention is very clear.
I mean, look at how many masters this thing must have had.
How did he get this footage?
I mean, cameras are everywhere in these movies.
Oh, even his gums are blue.
Yeah, they put 2,000 flushes in my toothpaste.
See, she also has McGregor syndrome.
Oh.
So you missed the line of dialogue where he said he can cure at least the first stage of McGregor syndrome, but his wife has like stage 4 and Alfred's stage 1.
Stage one.
I kind of like that this Batman ends with, you know, Batman appealing to this guy like, you can keep being bad or you can help me, like use your intelligence to help me. Like it may not be quintessential Batman because that's not always what he does, but I like that this Batman has a little bit more of a like, you know, you can be redeemed.
No, I agree.
And again, another like really poignant moment that they Thor Ragnarok it where they're about to undercut this poignant moment with a joke. And at least in this movie, it's not a great one, like a corny one.
I love that type of stuff.
Okay.
Perfect. Leave bad.
But see, this was, you know, Schwarzenegger said after, you know, Terminator 2, I think he was like, I'm not going to play villains anymore. So when he played this one, everyone was surprised. But it makes sense at the end. He's not really a villain, you know, even though he almost tried to kill everybody on the planet.
Yeah, there's that.
But
But
he gets redeemed.
but this is also like take some liquid nitrogen and put
Some
it in a
nos.
thing and cure a guy. It's like what? That doesn't really compute.
It
But
always
I do like
bother me that Robin's in the wrong suit. It's like, did you go home, change into the other suit, and then came upstairs?
that's a continuity error.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
bothers me.
Well, damn, how much footage did they shoot for this?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know where that originally was going to be placed, or if they shot that before they had finished the suits for you know, the final thing.
Or if they wanted to resolve the Alfred thing before they went to their final battle.
Which I'm glad they didn't, because that wouldn't make any sense at all.
Right. Yeah, because how would you beat up Freeze and take his? Maybe they freestyled that Freeze has the thing, and maybe that McGregor syndrome stuff was back planted. You know what I mean?
It certainly would make more sense if they're like, all right, we have to put something dramatic in this, you know?
Mm.
Now they let him keep the suit. I guess Batman he's got some pull. He's got put in a good word.
So
Also,
wait,
it's
wait.
kind of weird that they pair a guy and a girl together in Arkham Asylum. That seems like
That's preposterous on a lot of levels, and that's weird. Oh, hey, dude, who's mourning over your wife who's
right.
messed up. Go be in a prison cell with this lady and abuse her in your
I was
super
gonna
suit.
say, like, they make it seem so ominous. Like, well, if he hits a woman, it's gonna go back to being, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, it's like what's he get? You know what? He has a whole bunch of bad ice puns that he's about to unleash on her ass for
just
years.
in her face all the time.
Yep.
You know, the Alfred's miraculous recovery here kind of reminds me of like 2 days after I got my second COVID shot. Like I woke up like nothing had ever happened, but I felt like crap the day before. Maybe Alfred just got Pfizer.
You look at the microchip inside of him and it has a bat logo on it.
That necklace is just adorable.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very Jordan Catalano. Dude, and this Peacemaker ER era Caesar cut that homeboy has. I mean, this is a specific moment in my life where he had this haircut. You know what I mean? I remember this time as a period.
You know, Chris O'Donnell has a really good pizza place now. It's like some of the best pizza I've ever had.
Huh. Is it called Chokers?
And Alicia Silverstone's probably still baby birding her mama birding her kids. That was the weirdest article I've ever read in my life. Did you never read that?
That she does straight up Robin.
Yeah, but she at least she did. Yeah. Well, let's see if there's any
Wow.
wiggle. Did they fix the wiggle?
You know I hate Wiggle.
No, it wiggles.
It's a little wiggle.
It's a little wiggle.
A little wiggle. Right, and once you see it, you can't unsee it.
No, but it's not as bad on this one as it was
It
on
is
the other one.
now they stabilized them a little bit. They're like, there's gonna be a little wiggle. We can't.
I love that after that movie they go to like the hardest Smashing Pumpkins song here, which is just not in line with what we just saw. But
Chief
this,
Swinson, R.I.P. Man, 'cause that was a
yeah,
good performance given what he was allowed to do.
I mean, they just airbrushed him essentially. Like that guy was huge. Miss Behaven. They gave Vivica A. Fox a pun name for the one scene she was in.
Oh, Snowy Cones Thug, Snowy Cones Thug 3, MC Harry Van Gogh.
Bankers Coolio. That's why he had money necklace because he was the banker. Duh.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, this song actually they use. So it's called. I'm gonna get this wrong. It's one of these two. It was "The End is the Beginning is the End," but then they also had a different version of the same song that was slowed down called "The Beginning is the End is the Beginning." I may have that reversed
and
from
that's
the
the one
Watchmen
that's in
trailer.
Watchmen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I just think is so funny that everyone thought that trailer was great, myself included. It's like, oh, did you know that's the Batman and Robin song?
I mean, dude, that trailer. I mean, the Watchmen trailer is a top like 10 all-time trailer.
Both of that teaser was amazing, and then the one where they had the was it like the Muse or something one? It was like the final trailer. All those trailers were great for that.
Dude,
movie.
if your boy ZS, if he was just the trailer company for the world, he would just be rich and everybody would love him.
I like that we have to say ZS now. That's like back in the day when Napster, you had to purposefully misspell things so you wouldn't get caught.
Zeke Schneider is boy. That dude can really do a trailer, do trailer moments. But yeah,
we did it, man. We watched Batman and Robin. Look, there's a lot of. I think this movie, even though it's not a good movie, like I'm not stupid. I know it's not a good movie. It's still fun for me to watch, and of course, like we talked about a couple episodes ago with the nostalgia. Like I just have such fond memories of being a 10-year-old that summer and going to see this movie and listening to this R. Kelly song playing right now before I knew anything about R. Kelly and why it ruined it.
Well, I just want to call our attention to two things. Bob Putinowski is the color timer. That is hilarious. It's a hilarious name. But also they said ice something and copsicles. made Rick Baker. That's they literally said copsicles. So I just want to point out those two things in the actual credits that are just amazing.
I just love that like industry legend Rick Baker had a hand in this movie.
In the part that I hate the most, that's what really struck me. I was like, oh, the copsicles were the worst. But Rick Baker is a super genius. He made he made so many things you can't even list them. Just go look them up. And also he made that King Kong from the 70s with Jessica Lange and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, he made so many just groundbreaking effects that he deserves to coast on Batman and Robin, especially given the notes he was probably getting from Schumacher.
Yeah, I mean, look, this movie it's exactly what it is. I don't think that you can try to like ascribe more to it than, like, look, this was just what Joel Schumacher thought at the time was like kind of like a kid's cartoon 60s Batman adventure. It was over the top, very purposefully over the top. Some of that really works in that light, and some of it still, even with that context, doesn't work. But I still have fun watching it, especially like when you're with a friend and, you're not sitting there analyzing it. Like, we're just having fun,
Well, yeah, and also that is kind of, I think the thing that gets lost with some of these movies is it is about fun. If you could figure out a way to have fun with these movies, that's great. I just wish at this time there were a little bit more Bat options than just this. It wouldn't have hit my Bat heart so hard when they just went full 60s.
Sure.
Yeah. And I wasn't old enough, obviously, to see it as retro and cool that they were doing.
I totally understand too, because at that point, like, the idea that you would get another Batman and then like a lot of other versions of Batman, it just wasn't there. Like, you got maybe two superhero movies like every couple years, and that was it. And it was really Batman or Superman. Marvel wasn't even in the game in 1997 at this point. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I could see how it's just like, oh man, if that's the end of it, could that be the end of all of this completely? I love that they put the title at the very end as if you don't know what you just watched.
Oh, I love it, dude. But yeah, I mean, the movie that launched 1 million incels with that doctor's. I love how much we were responding to the Poison Ivy parts. I think that's a testament to this movie that Poison Ivy's probably one of the only real characters in this whole movie is Poison Ivy. She has a goal. She's at an arc,
But then they like totally just like basically off screen her because they don't know how to end her story, which is funny. Like, I do think that this is one where you always say the criticism of these Batman movies is that it's all about the villains, and I think this one probably more than any of even more than like Batman Returns to a certain extent. It's like, I guess you could say Robin has an arc in this. Batman doesn't really. Freeze does. Freeze is probably the one character who has the biggest arc, but they attempted to give almost everybody except Bane an arc,
Yeah, well, I take that back. Poison Ivy didn't really have an arc, but she had a graduation of her character.
Right.
Whereas, Freeze actually had an actual change in his character, which could be an arc. But yeah, I you know what? I'm glad that you forced me to do this because I haven't watched this movie in years, and I found myself noticing things that when I was younger, I just thought that they were just plain bad. And I'm just like, as you get older, you start to realize so many things are a matter of taste, and a matter of taste and intention. And I think if you can look at art with what the intention of the people are and take that into a little bit of consideration, not uber consideration to the point where you're defending crap all over the internet, cult like idiots, but you know what I mean? Like, take a little bit of the artist's intention into bear. They weren't trying to make Batman Year One. I mean, or rather, Batman Begins with this.
I mean, the thing, exactly what you're saying. I'll be the reiterator, which is really cool. Like, how can you watch this movie? Even like, yeah, there's so many eye rolling, like, but how can you watch it and not be just impressed by the costumes, impressed by like someone made all those sound stages, even if they look ridiculous, like someone made all that. Like, you can call this movie a lot of things. You can't call it lazy, and you can't say that they didn't at least have fun making. Like, you can tell they had fun making it.
No, absolutely, man. And I think that's the biggest part of this particular movie. As so-called bad as it is, at least parts of it are fun, and at least you can have fun with it. There's some dour some of these, I mean, even some of the lately animated movies of some of these properties are just sort of dour and weird, and violent. You know what I mean? I'm just like, am I getting old? Is this what getting old feels like? When I'm just like, why does Batman gotta like karate chop people down the stairs all the time? Why can't he uplift? Why can't some of these characters uplift people? Why can't they solve problems? A little bit.
If it is you getting older, then I'm getting older. Because in the Die Hard episode, I was like, the violence is just so loud and over the top in Die Hard.
Oh, that dude, that is it right there. When you start when you start getting bored. I mean, I think I got old in the Matrix sequels. Not to go off on a big rant at the end of this, but like, soon as I think an article said it perfectly. The scene in Matrix 2 where they have that big chase scene.
Yeah.
It is the most exciting chase scene that you'll check your voicemail during. You know what I mean? Because your priorities are different when you're watching movies. Like, if there's too much action for no sake, and it's not blowing your mind with how fresh the action is, it just gets boring. In this movie, I don't know that I was ever bored. As stupid as stupefying as some of the things that were happening were, I was not bored. I was not bored watching this movie, dude.
See, that's a pull quote for the poster. It's not boring. Yeah, look, not being boring is definitely something this movie does have going for it. But yeah, we did it. We've talked about just about every Batman movie. That was the last Batman movie for me to cover on this show, and I'm sad to say, in a weird way, the last Ed Greer hot takes episode. That doesn't mean we won't be doing stuff together in the future, but I have to be very sincere for a moment. Like, this show and the following that I have got from this, like, it just wouldn't have happened without you, man. Like, you are a pillar of this show, and it felt right to go out big with the last episode with you.
Oh man, you know what? If I had known it was the last episode, I would have been a little nervous. I don't want to mess up your legacy with my last episode. But I think this last episode is kind of what we've always done. Just talk to each other naturally and have fun. And I'm so glad that so many people like it, and I'm so glad that so many people got to hear your positive voice about movies. There's so many negative Nellies everywhere. There's so many people who hate everything. And honestly, in regular life, you're kind of like that sometimes. But when it comes to movies, you're just like, no, this is the one arena where we must come in with a little bit more introspection, a little bit more thought as to what we're going to say, and I think that that's valuable to the discourse.
It's going to be, well, here's the thing. I will say, even though the show is ending, they asked us over on the Reboot It AMA. I think, every now and then just posting a watch along on the YouTube channel is not out of the question. I'm not going to do any more hot takes episodes, but I think these are fun. And quite frankly, I'm well aware that I owe you at least one of a movie you want me to watch, because now we are two where I'm just like, buckle up, buddy.
Dude, yeah, you owe me. Yeah, you owe me about two. In aggregate, you owe me two. And I think we should do them. Either we should do something on the hot takes feed to keep that part alive. But definitely, you got to come on the Greatest Pod and do some stuff with me, man, because I want to do some stuff where it's like a little commute killery, on the Greatest Pod. So we'll do that. We'll still keep the band together, but we'll tour it with the traveling Wilburys over there.
Well, yeah, the end of hot takes, but certainly not the end of myself and Ed Greer. This was the last episode in terms of like a full-fledged episode on one topic. Next week will be the final episode of Hot Takes with Billy Biz, and it is something I've promised for a long time. It's everything I just didn't get to in the regular show. So it's going to be a lot of quick hot takes or cold takes. I don't know, whatever it takes. I don't know how many other people on this planet really have anything to say besides me about Saved by the Bell, the new class. But hey, I don't think I could get a full hour on it, but you'll get a good 5 minutes. And joining me, he was on the very first episode. He'll be there for the very last episode. It'll be Hal Rudnick. And we'll just close it out in good times. But I also want to say, for a lot of people that have been asking, you don't unsubscribe yet. You never know when something's going to pop up like these watch-alongs. And also, if you're very worried, these will always be archived on YouTube. I'm not sure about the podcast feed in the future. I don't want to pay hosting fees if I'm not going to be doing anything on it. But all of these episodes will live on YouTube forever. So you don't have to crazy start downloading and hoarding. They will always be there for you. Thank you so much, Ed. Thank you so much for watching along and listening along to this. And I will see all of you next week for the grand finale.